Let's take a look at the next drill in our Breaststroke 11.1 series. In our 11.1 series, we've explored on the width of the pole that we really want to see our developmental and our young age group athletes really kind of be at in terms of sweeping out. In our last drill, what we really focused on was doing this drill, this sculling drill with a flutter kick. Here we're going to explore on how to do this drill now with a breaststroke kick here behind us. Changes the feel of the drill a little bit so that we can kind of start to connect everything a little bit more and really kind of feel the line that's established here in our breaststroke. We're going to do this drill here with a snorkel, so it just kind of helps the athlete get a good familiarity with the drill, and also just to kind of keep that head still, so we also get a little bit of sight so we can see how far out we are performing our sweeps. And then the breaststroke kick here will really kind of help us understand the feeling of that kick to the skull, so that way we're just also promoting the good things that we've been working on with our breaststroke kick, plus just overall a great emphasis here on that overall line. So let's go over the key things that we look for. Let's start out here with the kick. We want to see the heels here come up toward the hip area, so we're going to see those heels rise. Beautiful right here. So at this point right here, we have a couple checks. We want to make sure that the heels are as high as they can. So the closer they are to the hip, the better. Assuring that the heels get to the hips as high as they can will result in a more powerful kick. Now here we kind of notice that there's a little bit of a gap between the heel and the hip here for our athlete. Now just remember, every athlete's going to feel the water a little bit differently and may have some physical restrictions, whether that's in flexibility or in mobility, that we just have to be aware of, and just make sure that you are aware of those when you're working with your athletes. Another thing that we want to check here is just that the knees are along or even just outside the hip line, and we're very cautious to say even outside. The closer they are to being inside, not inside, but along the hip line, the better. If you're too inside, that's not going to be good, and if we're too outside, that's also not going to be good. So we kind of want to be right along that hip line as much as possible. And then here what we want to see is the feet that they're turning out, so that way we grab water on the inside of the foot and also on the inside of the calf. And then as those feet are getting set out, so the feet can go outside the hip line, that's something absolutely we want to see. And then we're going to kick here at this downward angle. That's going to result in some power being created, helping to get those hips up, or as those hips getting up, this type of a kick in will really kind of help the overall flow and what we like to see out of the breaststroke kick here. So we're going to keep performing this kick every single time, and then as soon as that kick kind of finishes, we want to see those hands here then sweep out. We're going to see those hands turn out. Again, nothing more than 11 and 1. Then what we want to see is just a little kind of flip of the hands, and everything here then will start to draw inward, returning back to being up in front. And then we've got, again, just this nice line established, something that we naturally feel when we're doing the breaststroke. And then we just keep going through this. We just want to watch, excuse me, we just want to watch to make sure that we are not going to be pressing down too much here in order to create the hips going up. I got a little bit of that going on here, and we want to make sure that the athletes are going to be aware if they are doing that. But here we kind of see those hips rocking up and those feet going down. As long as the athlete is not doing this on purpose or doing an active kick, completely okay to be able to do this, at least at the time of making this video. Let's see if there's any rule changes. Then here what we're going to do is take a look at the underwater portion of that kick. So if you haven't seen any of our other ones, Here, great job turning those heels out. We got water to being able to capture on the inside of the foot and on the inside of the calf. Checking out our hip line here. So kind of seeing this right foot knee here is on, left side here just a little bit outside. So see that right there, how we're just a little bit outside. We now then want to make sure that we're going to be kicking at that downward angle. Beautiful job right there. Now, another thing that another secret we can kind of give is point the toes so that those feet then can get up a little bit more to the surface. We find that helps just get a little bit the most squeeze out of that breaststroke kick. And it'll be the kind of the analogy that we like to give our athletes is that it's going to help kind of really feel like you're going to be able to squeeze like a piece of fruit to get just the most juice, because sometimes when you do that initial squeeze, yeah, you get a lot of juice out of it, but there's also still a lot of juice in that kick as well. Coming back, we look for those same things here. The head relatively steady. We got a little bit of a press there, and just kind of something we want to watch. We'll take a look at that a little bit more on the underwater view. We just again sweep out and then return those hands inward. Right there, perfect. And then we are just again loading up for that breaststroke kick. Looking very solid. 11-1, 11-1. Taking a look under the water. As our athlete's coming in, there we go. So here, just a little bit of a bounce, not as much as we kind of thought before. So here, this is good breaststroke body positioning right here. That head is going to be tucked in between the arms. And then just again, we've got that sweep going 11, just like the hands on the clock, 11-1. Then turn those hands out and then return them back in. Another thing that we want to watch with the breaststroke kick here is that the knees are not coming into the chest. So here we're doing a great job again of that. Load up and then finish. Overall here, if you found some great value out of this, be sure to drop a like and subscribe.